Hello and welcome to Paranormal Path Peeps. And tonight I'm speaking to Darkside Spirit Seekers. How are you doing?
Evening, Jackie. All right.
Hiya.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It was great to meet you in Hull.
It was.
It was a good night.
We enjoyed
It,
it, didn't we? It
it
was really.
was, yeah. So Parachat held an event in Hull from about 7 to 11, wasn't it? And I had the opportunity to talk, and it's wonderful, and to meet you and all the other teams. It's just lovely, wasn't it?
It is, and it's a great atmosphere. We're all on the same wavelength, so to speak, and we can all talk about what we all love. And it was a really good night, wasn't it? I can't wait for the next one next year.
Yeah, that's right. I just hope I can make the date because, yeah, my calendar's getting a bit dodgy already. So, but yeah, it was a great time. It really was. I always start with a question. Then, where did it start for you with the paranormal side of things?
As individuals or as a group?
You. So the first time that something unusual happened, let's say.
It's a couple of things really. The first time I really noticed it was not long ago. It was 2017. Was it 2018? Can't remember.
Wow.
It's probably 2018, and what I do, or used to do, I do a lot of urban exploring. So I explore abandoned buildings,
Oh
things like
wow.
that. Yeah, it's fascinating, dangerous but fascinating.
Yeah.
And I used to live in Gainsborough, just outside,
Yeah.
just not far from Scunny. And there was this manor house that was, I was told it was abandoned, and you could gain access to it. I thought, oh, fantastic, cool. We had a look around it. Massive, like Gothic style mansion, well, manor house, not mansion, owned by a local MP. He died, and his wife ended up in a home, and obviously no one was looking after the property.
Wow.
So we got there, thought, oh, we'll probably get there, and it'd be all boarded up or something. Nope, front door was wide open, so I thought, oh, we'll walk in and peaceful entry, and there was a lot of stuff left behind, but it was in very ruinous state, very wet, damp, and mold everywhere. So you had to be
Oh,
careful. And we did the downstairs, then we went upstairs because a massive uh, banister and everything going all the way up the stairs. It was lovely. And then all of a sudden, about 5 minutes after that, we heard crunching downstairs, like someone was walking over broken crockery.
oh
And
wow.
I looked to my mate and says, "Did you hear that?" And he goes, "Yes." I says, "Well, okay, well, let's go down and see what it is, because it could be kids, as it usually
Yeah.
is. Could be another urban exploration team or paranormal investigation team, or it could be the police. But normally the police let themselves know." And we got downstairs, and yeah, and there was absolutely nothing anywhere. Nowhere. We went each room again, nothing. So okay, that's strange. So okay, fair enough. Went back upstairs, and just before we were about to walk up the stairs, on the bottom spindle was an really old 1950s, 1960s perfume bottle, and in front of that was an old black and white photo. And we didn't know until about a month after that it was actually the grandmother of the man that owned the building,
Oh
and
wow.
that was not on the stairs when we first went up there. And
Oh
I thought, oh,
interesting.
someone, and because I'm very nosy, I would have noticed that, and I said to my mate, I says, yeah, and I was looked at him open mouthed and speechless. And it's the first time in a long time I've been speechless. And so we carried on doing the explore, and we came back down the stairs. And all of a sudden, I had this notion just to turn around and look at the stairs. And then I just saw this mist, and it was like walking up the stairs. It wasn't, the atmosphere, or it wasn't temperature or anything like that, because it was a warm day. And it just went halfway up the stairs, then vanished. And I says, my eyes are playing tricks with me. Because obviously at that
Oh
point, I didn't
bless
believe it
you.
all. I never
Yeah.
believed in the paranormal. I said, I've watched my Most Haunted and all that kind of stuff. I thought, nah, it's all a load of fake stuff. I can't be doing with it. But
Yeah.
I couldn't explain it. And I got home that night and looking at all my photos, and because I put them on Facebook of all my explores. And there's one particular, I think it was one of the living rooms, and there was a mist on half of the picture, which is not my breath, because I always hold my breath when I take my pictures. I always do, not to contaminate the picture. And
Yeah.
on it covered half of the sofa and the fireplace. Well, on this side and half of the sofa, what I perceive is there's a little girl sat. You can see her head, her arms, and everything.
Oh
And
my
awful,
gosh.
fireplace as a girl and a dog morphed into the fireplace. Not pareidolia. I've had people look at it to test my pictures.
Yeah, this is the one,
They
isn't
can't
it?
explain it. And I couldn't explain it. And since then, I've delved more into the paranormal, and I've been heavily into it ever since.
It's like a drug, isn't it? So Helena says, "Love it when you see a mist walking about. No one knows what
It's
to do."
awesome. And I never thought about it because obviously before I never believed it. But before I met Michelle, I don't know how many years ago, it was quite a few years ago, and I was walking my two dogs. It was early hours of the morning because I usually walk them early in the hours of the morning when I couldn't sleep. And I was walking along the riverside, and I saw this person coming towards me, head down, looking at the floor, walking towards me. I thought, oh, well, just a typical person in Gainsborough. So I moved round to go around him, and he goes, "Good evening, soldier." And that was the exact voice of my friend when I was serving in the army. He was shot and killed on active service, and it was his
Wow.
voice I heard. And I turned round to say, to say something, nothing there.
Oh my
But I
gosh.
just put that down to because I was having a lot of mental health
Yeah.
and all that issues at that point, and I just recovered from being an alcoholic as well. I just got myself off all of that, and I just put it down to that. But now I look at it now and think, well, maybe that was my first ever recollection of the paranormal.
Wow, that's incredible. And like, I guess all that stress as well, you've been through a lot of stress, hadn't you? And sort of
Yes,
a lot of anguish, to get to the stage you're at. And then
it is.
to get that's amazing.
It's it's I was only 6 years in the military, but I saw a lot in the 6 years I was there. I saw a lot. I saw human at its best and humans at the worst. The things I've
Yeah,
seen no one can ever see. And obviously, we're losing him on active service, and I won't say where, but
yeah.
it destroyed my career and turned me to drink. So I was a full blown alcoholic when I had left the army, and it
Oh,
just
bless
spiraled out
you.
of control there. So it's not until I met Michelle really that I really got it all under control, and that was only 4 years ago.
Oh, wow, bless you. But, you do get faced with things, and it's how to get through things, isn't it? Like, I was splitting up from my ex, and like, I started drinking a lot, and you do, don't you? And people just do different things just to get through things, and
Yeah.
yeah, there's no, you just got to do things for you, haven't you? And
Well,
then want to sort it out as well.
it's and obviously as you do with it could be drink, it could be drugs, it could be anything. I mean, obviously I've never touched drugs in my life, and I never will.
Yeah,
But it feels like it's your friend. It's saying what you think you want to hear, but obviously it's not. It's not doing you any favors. No. It's making it worse. But it took
yeah,
me losing my family for the first time, and obviously I've got I see my kids now, so I lost my kids through it. I
shame.
lost my marriage through it, which I'm not bothered about. I'm not bothered about my marriage. That was going down the pan anyway.
Yeah,
And obviously, I lost a lot of friends and everything else, and because they just saw the bad side to me, they didn't understand.
no,
But and it took until Michelle to get to grips with me, because obviously she's worked in mental health before, to help me through it, and that's who I am
oh,
today,
wow.
thanks to her.
It's wonderful that you met each other. Like Helena, she's so proud of you getting through it, and it's hard to deal with, and you did it. And I used to run a pub for 4 years, and then moved to another one. And a lot of people that call themselves social drinkers or whatever can have 15 pints a day. And I saw a young lad lose everything, and I tried to make him have. I know it's silly now. Soft drink in between,
Yeah.
and another bloke used to come in and he drank cider, then he'd want top shelf. I said, "No, you're not having any." And then one day I
Wow.
took the dog a walk, and he was having he'd got a hip flask, and he's drinking in the park, and he's so apologetic to me. You know what I mean? And it's wanting to be able to sort it out and having the strength, isn't it? It's
It is,
oh, but well done you.
it's never gonna work. It's never gonna sort itself out until you admit there's a fault. When you admit there's a problem, obviously that's half the battle. But it's getting to that part, which is the hardest part of any battle that you have, with it be drink, drugs,
Yeah.
whatever. Admit there's a problem. You're halfway there, and then it's just a bit of willpower after that and determination.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
mine was the thought of my family, my thought of my children.
Oh,
That's
bless
what pretty
you.
much led me through it.
Oh, way. Yeah, because I know somebody used to be serious drug addict, and I met him when he was trying to come off it, and times is so down. He did want to go to an area which was dodgy area in Nottingham for supplies, and I'd stop him, and he's done well. He's been clean now, and then he got a university degree.
Oh,
So
awesome! Yeah,
there is a chance. He met a decent lady, and there was a chance, and it's not always a good story, but at least he managed that, didn't and that's the thing, isn't it?
and that's a great
Yeah,
accolade to have. You hit rock bottom. So when you hit that rock bottom, you think, well, there's nowhere else you could go down. Now, the only place you can now go is up. And
yeah,
like I said, you long as you've got that driving force behind you. Because obviously, I used to have, I still have night terrors now,
You do.
but I used to have lots of bouts of depression and suicidal tendencies. So I
oh,
used to, obviously, I don't broadcast it very often, but I used to self-harm because that was a release for me. And
yeah,
I
that's
used to
right.
take overdoses and, basically at that point want to, not be here anymore. And, and people don't understand and said, oh, all I get saying from professionals was, think of your family. Well, I think of my family every single day of my life. I love my family. I wouldn't
Mm,
want to harm them in any way. But I said, there's something missing. I need some help. And all it needs is someone to hold a hand out to you and say, what you're doing is not wrong, but there's another way.
yeah,
Offer a hand out to you to get you out of that hole that you've got yourself into, and say, look, there's a different way. You can do it this way.
Yeah.
And obviously, it took me a long time to properly realise that. And obviously, that was through Michelle, and that was, like I said, 4 years ago.
And you stopped. I was going to say
yeah.
it's been 3 years since you stopped, wasn't it?
3 years since I've stopped everything now.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
drink, don't self-harm,
Yeah.
and
Oh, that's brilliant, and it's so glad that you've met each other, isn't it?
It
And
is.
it's
I mean,
just meant to be.
that's another story which we'll hopefully cover a bit later on. But obviously, there's Michelle's side to the paranormal, and I'm taking over the whole limelight here.
Right, but
It.
it's all right. It's where the conversation goes. Like
So,
I want to speak to real people. And I'm not bothered if they've been on TV, if I haven't, whatever. I don't care. Everyone's got a story,
exactly,
Yes.
absolutely.
and where we are in life is through the things that we've dealt with in the past.
Yes. And everyone's story is a fascinating story. As long as it has
Yeah,
a good outcome. Obviously we don't like the bad outcomes. There's a lot of bad outcomes. A lot of
that's
my friends
right.
have took their own lives.
Yeah.
It's one of my friends was a former Royal Marine Commando, so they're tough guys. And he went
Yeah.
out to serve in Bosnia, and he saw all the ethnic cleansing of all the children and the women. They were
Oh,
obviously burnt.
no.
He came
Yeah.
home that traumatized. He actually shot himself.
Mm.
And that's it, and he couldn't deal with it. And it's awful them outcomes because there's no help.
No.
There's no help
No.
out there.
No.
And
But then you're not, even if you're getting help, you're not with somebody 24/7. You still
No.
got the nights on your own in the house.
mhm,
Like I'm on
yeah,
my own, and it can get bad, and I have to keep active. I keep my mind active. I keep things to look forward to. But it can be hard.
it is. It is extremely hard and can be quite lonely at times. And
Yeah, that's right.
I've begged for help so many times, and the doors just close. Obviously you don't fit our criteria, or you don't meet this, you don't meet that. And
Slam it in your face, don't they?
I even went once. This is bad. I even went to social services. This was before I met Michelle, and said,
Mm,
"Look, I'm struggling. I need some help." Well, are you a danger to your kids? I said, "Well, no, not at the, as I'm thinking at the minute. No, but what happens if I
yeah,
get to that point where I become a danger to my children? Oh, we can't help you though until you become a danger to your children. Well, I'm not defeat the object. I'm trying to ask for help here. So it don't come to that.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yeah.
no, and they put the door on me. You know, no one would help. And, you know, I've tried medication. That doesn't help. It makes me worse. And like I say,
Mhm.
it took that one woman to believe in me, Michelle, and, you know, she's my rock. You know, I won't be
That's
without her.
That is lovely, but yeah, you know, it's tough. And when I went to Hull, I got there the night before the Parachat, and I went to Fort Paul, and it was shut, and it was like meandering back because it's a few miles between Fort Paul and South Cave, and
Yeah.
I went to they've got a community centre just right near the bridge,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it's like a friendship cafe.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was sort of talking to them because how useful that place is, because it's a location, you know, it's right, you know, and I sort of said, "Have you had people who, you know, have been in a mess?" And they have. And, you know, just by chatting to people, if it
Wow.
helps, it's great. And they have helped people. I actually did a live in front of it. I wanted to put it on the page, you know, just so that people know that there is a support there,
Yeah.
you know, and
Awesome. Wicked.
it was just lovely how, you know, it's like a friendship cafe, but because I went the other side and I went to Cleethorpes and I went to a nature reserve and I
Yeah.
walked under the bridge there and all of a sudden I felt sorry, sad and everything. And I was picking up the grief, wasn't I? And
No,
it really
obviously.
grieved because I didn't even think about it. You know, you just walk on a footpath in Barton, I think it was, nature reserve. And then
Yeah.
you just walk in and think, God, why do I feel? Look up and bloody bridges up there and like, oh my God. You know, and for quite a few paces it was horrible. And, you know, then to sort of notice that cafe and, you know,
Wow.
it's really lovely, helpful people and you can feel the nice energy as well and it's charity. And, you
Yeah.
know, it's just brilliant. So if you ever go over the Hull, it's the Hull side of the bridge, you know, just go and
Okay.
support them, you know,
Absolutely.
and
And all for
that's
supporting
it.
people.
Yeah, that's right. I got a coffee and a cake, you know, and I had a
Oh,
chat
well.
and, you know, hear some of the stories. And, you know, if a 5-minute conversation can make a difference, and
Absolutely.
that,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then you've got at the other side, if you're nasty to someone for 5 minutes, can you imagine where that can lead, you know? And you've got
Absolutely.
that as well, haven't you? Because, you know, there is a lot going off in this paranormal world, isn't there? And it's absolutely shocking at the moment.
It
And
is.
There's so much
It is
negativity.
negativity, and obviously we know negativity breeds negativity, and that breeds
yeah,
negative spirits.
Yeah.
As we know, you know, we don't want negative spirits. We definitely don't want them.
No.
But
yeah,
you know, it's and you can. I can see where you're coming from underneath that bridge because there's been that many suicides off that bridge. I
yeah.
mean,
It's known
God
for it.
forbid
Yeah,
anyone.
that was the Barton side as well. But obviously, there's, you know, there's
Yeah,
that your side as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
there is. I mean, there's been a
And
lot of
it's
deaths attributed to that bridge.
yeah, that's right. Because I think they've caught people sort of heading up that way, you know, and they've prevented it. And you know, it's amazing and how they can make such a difference. Oh,
Yes.
Helena, you don't know me, but I'm proud of you both and your beautiful souls and energies.
Oh,
Helena's beautiful medium, and I recently met her for
fantastic.
the first time when I went to Suffolk. So yeah, I spent some time with her. So that was so lovely. But
Good.
yeah, and just try and be nice because at the moment it is harsh, isn't it?
It
It
is.
is. You know, I always try my best to be nice in general. That's how I was brought up. You know, be nice until it's time to become not nice, which obviously is not very often that happens,
Yeah.
but be nice to people and then people will be nice to you. But it doesn't always go that way. No, of course it doesn't, because there are some horrible people out there.
Mm.
But, you know, I've dealt with that, you know, doing a lot of security work. I've dealt with a lot of negative,
Oh
angry people,
wow.
especially in
Yeah.
shops, you know, and it's just.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why I came away from that career because I thought this isn't no good. You know, it's I can't help some of these people, you know, because a lot of them are like the shoplifters. So obviously, you're stopping them from shoplifting. You know, I can get it to a degree. You're trying to feed some kind of habit. You know, it's you don't, you know, but
oh nightmare, isn't it?
It is, I've been threatened with knives and all sorts. It's, and I just thought, no, it's just not worth it for 11, £12 an hour. It's not worth it. So
Yeah, it is shocking because my best mate's daughter, she works in a supermarket and they've got shoplifters in all the time and they can't do anything, and
no,
it's not safe, is it? It's just
no,
absolutely shocking,
and even as security now as well. I mean, like it's changed now, but you can't lay a hand on them anymore now.
No, you
You can't
can't do a
detain
damn
them.
thing. Exactly. That's
It's
right. So
assault
they just go
now,
in with the list and it's okay for them, isn't it? There you go,
and
Blake. Mark and Michelle are the nicest people out there. Help my family a lot.
oh,
We will never be able to thank them. Oh,
it's
there you go.
we help. They were a family in need of help,
Yeah.
paranormal wise, and
We help them.
we like to be. We pride ourselves on being like not as good as, but as the Warrens were. They want to help people.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a lot of people don't believe in the Warrens. They believe they were charlatans or frauds, whatever. But they wanted to help people, and that's what we pride ourselves on, to try and help people. We're not as experienced, no, of course we're not, but we'll help where we can. If we can't help, we'll put you in contact with someone that can help. And
Yeah,
I love
that's
helping
right.
people. I love
Yeah,
it.
'cause I sometimes get people asking for help and, I try and sort it out, as long as it feels like whoever's asking for help, it's right. Because sometimes
Yeah,
I get warnings in my head that something's not right here. You've also got to go on that to protect yourself. So,
We have.
there's that as well, isn't there?
it
But
is.
like you mentioned the Warrens and, like, everyone's got their own opinion of them, but how many people with strong anti-Warrens opinion have ever met them? Are they
Exactly.
going by other people's opinions? Are they going by films? That means nothing.
Oh, good old
You
Hollywood.
know?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, just like the board, you know what I mean? Like, it's different, you don't get the demons coming through it,
You don't.
no.
Absolutely.
I
you
mean,
know?
it's not like what you see in the Hollywood films. Sometimes
Mm,
the good part. I wish it was like Hollywood. We get a lot of action and activity. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to see a chair
yeah,
fly across the room at 100 miles an hour. I'd love to see it, as long as it's not aimed at me. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's right.
I mean, I love horror films. I love them. I've been watching them since I was 6 years old. And I absolutely love them. The Conjuring films are some of the best films I've ever seen. But they're films. They're not real. It says
That's
based on a
right.
true story. Doesn't mean nothing. I've read up on the true stories of the cases that the Warrens have had. We've even spoke to Chris McKinnell, who's their grandson.
Oh,
We speak to
yeah.
him quite often. Lovely bloke, so
He
knowledgeable,
is, isn't he?
and he's explained all the cases. Nothing like you see in the films. Nothing at all. And
Yeah.
it's.
Just all isn't
But it's that, and obviously because people say, "Oh, well, they've brought books out." Of course, they're going to exaggerate it a little bit. Of course, you are.
Oh,
You
yeah, this is the
sell
thing.
books, but they're not charlatans. They weren't charlatans that I know of. Obviously, I never met them, so I don't know personally. But going on what Chris has said, and he's better to know them more than anyone else because he's the grandson. He said
Oh,
they were
that's
absolutely
right.
lovely people.
Yeah,
The desire to help. That's all they did. Never got no money for it, any fuel expenses.
yeah,
And that's what we'd like to do.
that's it. And if you can make a difference in someone's life, and it is a big thing, and you just got to be really careful, and like you can't just go in and like think it's a free investigation, which too many do as well. And it's all about helping people out, isn't it? And yeah, I just need to meet more people sort of like you, just helping people, and yeah,
And
that's it.
it's like we said, because we was on a podcast with Amy from, I think she's Empress Sparkles, I think, and
she is, yeah.
a stage name is, a lovely lady. And like she said, though, we're never going to be a big hit on YouTube. We're never going to get thousands upon thousands of followers because all the followers, they tend to follow the fake ones, and for
Mhm.
whatever reason, the entertainment side of things, and we don't believe in the entertainment, not to that degree.
No.
I don't put my
It's
content out. Some of my content is so it's really OTT. I can't actually put it out. When you investigate and you come out the room and there's sulphur, that was a strong one, and it kind of followed you out the building. I can't go much into detail on that one. That was, I was there with some amazing witnesses as well. And even to go back to a bar and like somebody serve you a drink and slam it onto the bar, the barman had a drink, slammed it on the bar, but he put it on the bar like that, but it's like he slammed it and an 8 for the pint came out the top. Well, he didn't slam it. It's like, whoa, what's going on here, and when you're sort of like involved in something that's heavy and then it follows you to the hotel.
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, we all know what sulphur means. It's
it
not
was
nice.
Heavy, no, and it's it's quite special. That was, and then we had another night which was a bit similar as well, and it's an incredible experience. But stuff like that, you can't put it out there because everyone will go, "Oh, that's rubbish," But you can have some right crazy stuff happen.
You can.
It's not all, as I say, Casper or Slimer from Ghostbusters. It's not always nice.
No.
90% of it is. Of course it is. There's not everything's demonic unless you believe Help My House is haunted. Then everything's demonic. But it's God. The God bless Barry Guy, bless him. But it's we had a sulphur case, didn't we?
We did,
and that was one of our public events. It was our public event. So obviously we never film public events. We won't do that. We never have done. It's the public's. We film our own events, of course we do. We don't do the public events, and we don't do like private house investigations. We don't film those either because it's personal.
It's respect, isn't it? And you've got a different intention with the house. And that's what gets me. The people who do the lives from houses, they're trying to sort somebody out, and all they want to do is put live content out. And that to me is so wrong. You're not doing what you're there to do, and you're probably causing more of an issue.
I mean, we take notes. Don't get me wrong, because you have to take notes, because otherwise you can't come home and then go back and follow it up if you haven't got notes to go with in the first place. But no, the one we did was Keighley Underground.
Oh,
okay. It's more well known now than it ever was. Have you heard of Keighley?
Oh gosh, yeah.
It is. We went there first with It was a paid event. We went to first. Was it Lone Vigils? I think it is. Great group, fantastic people. Yeah. And we wanted to do Keighley for quite a while, so we paid and went there. Fantastic night, quite a bit of activity, but nothing really felt heavy. Nothing was really felt bad. So we spoke to Andy, who owns the building, and said, "Can we come and do our own public event there? Would you mind?" He goes, "No, no problem." Yes. So we did a public event. We pretty much sold out all the tickets, which was great for us.
That's wonderful.
So we had all we did all what you do at the beginning, and go through all your blah 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 stuff, and we started with the human pendulum. I love the human pendulum to get the atmosphere going, to get people interacting.
A lot actually call it, but you know what? If you're standing there and you've got people who are skeptics or whatever, and they're like, nothing's going to happen, but get them in that circle, get them scared. Beautiful.
Yes.
And then
it's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we had nothing at all. I kid you not, we had nothing. No one swayed, no one moved. No, I think we had one cat ball off, and the REM pod blinked, once, and that was about it.
Yeah.
I thought, I'm not used to this. What do we do next? So we're going to go to the next location, which was the brothel, and it's the place you can get away with saying, "Oh, we're going to get activity at the brothel," but never mind. Get away with it. But my son came up to us, because we took my son along, and not as a guest or to do an investigation, just to cheer him up, because he'd split up with his girlfriend. I thought, don't get involved with the paranormal, because obviously your head's not in the right place. But come along, we'll show you what we do. And if you like it, you can come on another one with us, but not a problem, because he'd never done the paranormal before. And he said, I'm not feeling too well. I thought, oh, okay. So maybe because we're underground, maybe it's dark, claustrophobic, whatever. So I said, well, go up the steps, go outside, get some fresh air. We'll do the vigil. We're going to go for a break. I'll come and get you when we've done. Not a problem. He says, you know where we are. And I forgot all about my poor son, bless him. I forgot about him. And one of our cohorts came up to us and says, can I borrow you for a minute? I thought, God, what have I done wrong now? I've done something wrong here. So I said, okay. So I left Michelle with the customers, and she says, Eric's unresponsive. I said, what? Run that by me again in slow motion. Eric's unresponsive. Obviously, that's the last thing you want to hear as a parent, you know. And so obviously I flew on steps at like 100 miles an hour. And it was crouched, weren't he? But his back was against the wall, and he was rocking backwards and forwards. He was growling, hissing, and frothing at the mouth. I thought, you know, I thought, you know, he hasn't took an overdose. I hope to God not, because he knows I don't want him to take an overdose. And so I shook him and said, Eric, come to my voice, son. Hear me, son. Come to me. No, it was growling and hissing even more at me. Gee. So I gently slapped his face, you know, to get some kind of response. More growling, more hissing. So I opened his eyelids up, and this shocked me to the T. One eyeball was going clockwise, one was going anti-clockwise. I thought, is this trick of my mind here? Because this can't be possible. It's impossible. I said, this is no overdose. And to get from outside to the break room should have took 2 minutes of walking. Took me 25 minutes of sweating to drag my son. And my son is about 8 stone wet through. And, you know, he's less than half the size of me. I should have picked him up with one hand and carried him.
He's skinny, isn't he?
He fought me all the way. I struggled, you know, and I'm not small, I'm not a small guy. And so I sat him down in the chair. I said, right, call Andy down, because Andy's a fully trained paramedic. So just in case there's something I have not covered.
Yeah.
And because we're all first aiders. And but no, he said no, his heart rate's elevated, which you'd expect.
Well,
he
yeah.
says, but other than that, and he's sweating, he's perfectly fine, not a problem.
Oh,
so okay, all the customers were sat there tutting and moaning because they were bored. I said, take the equipment, take my staff, and go and do a mini hunt on your own. I says, I can't leave him. I won't leave him.
No, you're not.
So, you know, you've paid for this event, so go and get your money's worth and leave us to deal with it, and we'll be with you. No, they wouldn't go. Well, stop. Well, there's nothing I can do. So obviously, Michelle being a witch, I backed off and let her deal with it, because I wouldn't know what to do. I was in a state of shock myself, and she was doing whatever she was doing, and I would never ask what she was doing, because that's between her and what she does.
Yeah.
And the next second after that, my son projectile vomited pure bright yellow. It was bright. I've never seen yellow in my life. It hit the ground and it sizzled. And obviously we smelled the sulphur.
Oh my
and I thought, that was definitely no overdose. That was something kind of take hold of it.
Yeah, something nasty. Wow, because it's a thing, like, anybody can, like, sort of go out and take public out, but you do get these encounters, not very often in a public event, but people have got to have the experience to know what to do with it as well, haven't they? And luckily you were there, Michelle, and you know, I guess to our teams, they don't have a clue that this can actually happen, and it can.
You know, I was scared. If I'm honest, I was scared.
Oh yeah,
I've never done this before.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not trained to deal with this. I'm a first aider. I'm battlefield first aid trained. I'm not demonic possession or whatever it was trained. I'm not trained for that. You know, and it's you know, I can splint an arm or do this, that, and the other, but I can't do this. So I said, Shell, help me.
So bless her. Spiritual warfare, whatever it was. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Helena says, how old was your son? And what age do you think is a good idea to start teaching kids?
Well, Eric's 20, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 20, bless him.
So he's about 19, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he doesn't remember, and I don't want him to remember. He doesn't need to remember. I remember everything, but he doesn't need to remember.
No, because if it is trance or whatever sort of state he went into, then a lot of the time they don't recall it. So that is a good thing, and it's certainly good that you haven't got footage of it either as well, because I don't think either of you want to see that.
No, funnily enough, we had a couple of customers asked us, did you take a video of it? I said, why would I do something like that? I said, that's something you take a video of. It make good research. I said, yes, it would make very good research, but it's
Yeah.
not something video. You know, not because he was my son. It could have been a member of the public. I'd have tried it exactly the same. You know, it's respectful. You don't video it. You know, it's
No,
not
that's
Hollywood.
Not.
No,
You know, and it's real.
well, I'm not into sort of likes and view. If people watch, thank you very much. But I'm not going to put something on which is, to get views like that. I won't do that. And,
No.
it's just who I am.
I wouldn't humiliate anyone to do that. I wouldn't.
God, no.
Just for a few
That's
likes.
right.
You know, yes, it would make good research. Of course, it would. You know, but obviously, my time. You know, at that point in time, my thought process was not grab my phone and record it.
No.
It was to try and save my son. You know, and it's just
Yeah, and, that's your priority because you don't understand what's going on. And, yeah, even me, if something like that happened, I'd hope I'd get him out of it quicker than that, but you don't know until you're in that situation, do you?
you know, it's you can't go to college. You can't go to college and train for this kind of stuff. You don't.
No, of course.
You know, but
No, that's
you know,
it.
it's and two people
Wow.
even replied with a laughing emoji when I put little bits on it on the internet, not in full detail. I would never do that. And someone says,
No.
it's a joke. It's made up. I said, well, you believe whatever you want. We're all entitled to an
Yeah,
opinion.
that's
I was
right.
there. You wasn't there. You know, I was there. You know, and it's
Oh.
just.
But
yeah.
isn't that a thing about people at the moment? Putting laughing emojis on everything. Oh,
Yep.
someone's
Yep.
died, so it's a laughing emoji. My God, what's happened to humanity? People are absolutely shocking now, aren't they?
They
You know,
are.
it's I look at some of the comments that people put to people. People have put a picture up there. Fair enough, you know, that's their interpretation of it. But then people are laughing and saying, "Oh, you fake, you're rubbish." You know, you're trying to belittle people. You don't do that.
No.
You know,
No.
this person was generally maybe scared or anxious, and it took a lot of guts to post
That's
that on
it.
Facebook. You know, give a bit of respect. If you don't believe it, and if they faked it, well, that's on their heads. But
Yeah.
but a bit of respect.
You
Don't
can
comment.
you can sort of comment on the things that you know, like photography, and
Yeah,
we know how a camera works. We know like bulbs. We can't say everything is photography or not. We don't actually know, but a lot of them probably can be, discounted and explained. But we don't know. No one's an expert. I've got some dodgy photos. I don't know, and we'll
no,
never know.
exactly. We don't. We're not never going to be clever enough to know.
No.
But you can voice the opinion without it
Mm,
being derogatory. You know, you don't have to
yeah,
insult people. Just give your opinion. Say, I think it could be this. You
yeah.
know, and everyone's entitled to an opinion. We love opinions. Great, everyone's entitled to one. But just don't slag people off or say, oh, what a
Oh,
load of rubbish that is. You know, because it's disgraceful.
yeah. Her humanity is never going to change. It's pointless to even think it's got worse. Centuries are still the same. Well, no, actually, it's worse, isn't it?
It is what it is. You know,
It is,
but
isn't
obviously
it?
going back to the question about children,
Mm,
obviously because we got sidetracked. As a rule, I don't take children along on paranormal investigations because I just
mhm,
don't think, it's awful. But obviously, because we're born with a gift, we're all born with that sixth sense where
mhm.
we're toddlers and that we can see spirits, this, that, and the other. But obviously, as we're growing older, our parents, grandparents saying, "Oh, it's a load of hocus pocus. Don't believe it. It's mumbo jumbo." So you get desensitized. So obviously, we lose that gift. But
Mhm.
I always say to families who are children are witnessing this, try try not to fear it so much and try and enhance it a little bit, accept it, and see where it goes from there because it's a wonderful gift to have. But that saying, I don't take children on our investigations. No, I don't, because I don't think unless you're brought up with it as a child, you don't understand.
No.
They don't have what's the word? Not necessarily the knowledge, but
Mhm.
the understanding, whatever it's, and also because it can be dangerous as well, on odd occasions,
Yeah.
and it's I didn't even take my own children along. You know, it's
Yeah.
Jessica was, I think, 15. I think before I took her urban exploring. You know, but obviously that's on my head. If she falls through a floor, that's for me to deal with. That's on my head. But I wouldn't take somebody else's child. No, I wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's interpretation. Everyone can have different opinions on that one. Some people out there do children's ghost hunts. I've seen them. Some teams do that. But
I've hosted them. Yeah, I've
yeah,
done that. Yeah, I've hosted them. So I've hosted at Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Inkley,
yeah,
and
I know
they have done sort of teen ones. And I think
Okay.
the funniest one was when, at the end of it, the parents said, "Well, it's the most time we've spent together as a family for ages."
You know, and I suppose if the families are coming along, you know, obviously, 'cause, you know,
They are. The families have to be with them. You know, we won't. You know, there has to be a teen with the family member. We're not.
yeah,
No. You know, but the
and
family have got to be aware, and we take it gently. And that's it, isn't it?
Fantastic place.
I mean, yes. I mean, I've always wondered, you know, how would you do a children's paranormal? Because obviously you've got to really water it down a little bit. You know, obviously you can't go in there full on board with Ouija boards, this, that, and the other. Obviously, you know, you're terrified of the poor things, but
Yeah,
you
you just
know,
take it easy, and a lot of them were returners as well, and
okay.
actually some had actually um, they were in tune anyway, so they
Oh well.
managed to get questions answered about them, which their parents couldn't do.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
wicked.
wow, that's quite
So
cool.
Well, it's something to look at then,
yeah,
won't it? You know,
you have that side as well,
hmm,
because for some
it's,
of it's just a laugh, but others are experiencing it.
Yeah.
you know, it's because we do come across a lot of, you know, if you see the house investigations, obviously children are affected, you know,
Mm.
and some of them, the poor little things, are downright terrified, you know, and it's, we've met some adults that are downright terrified, so
Yeah.
it's, you know, we get asked, "Oh, you're not scared?" Well, no, not really, because we're used
We
to
never
it.
get scared, do we?
You know, obviously the times we obviously with what happened to my son and that, obviously they are scary times, but they're few and far between. But normally, no. So I get asked, you know, we get asked, "What's your scariest place you've done?" I said, "I've not found one. I've not found one yet."
Not being really scared of it. Not really.
You know, and it's just people laugh at me. Says, "Well, are you so serious?" I said, "Yeah, I am. You know, I enjoy everyone I go to. I love them, but I'm not scared of them. No."
I think there's only one where I was, and it was associated with my past life, and it was getting a bit too heavy. And you know about that past life situation,
Yeah, we
which
do.
is still
Yeah.
ongoing. Eek. But Helena says the spirits in the house would freak a lot of people out. Jackie knows that feeling firsthand. And to be fair, I walked through him, and I did. We went to a church, where the lepers went. It used to be a chapel where the lepers were.
Wow.
And I just walked through, and it's like all cold, icy, and like it just felt really weird. I thought, what have I gone and done? And then, yeah, I walked through mhm, this person who I am
Ah,
aware of. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it's,
Steve would like to join, but he needs to click on the link, and you don't need to download anything. So there you go.
If he just clicked on the link that I sent in our team chat, then he can join that way.
So
oh,
yeah, see how that goes. But
dear.
yeah, what about you then, Michelle? Where did it all start for you? It's about your
Ah,
time you had a chat, isn't it?
well,
It
come on, speak up, woman. Speak up, woman.
My how I started was back in 2020. Me and my ex-husband, we was on our way to our first investigation at Ravenscar,
Nice.
and what happened was we set off. We'd loaded the car, we'd set off, and I looked into the back of the car. I just sort of glanced. Something caught my eye, and I turned round, and there was a woman in a white dress. She was just sat there. So
Wow.
I said to my husband, I was like, "Who's that?" He says, "Who?" He said, "I can't see anybody." And I says, "Can't you see the woman in the white dress?" He said, "No." He said, "There's nobody in the back of the car." I said, "There is." and he just thought I was basically start raving bonkers. So he said, "Look, you know where we're going." He says, "Your mind's playing tricks with you." He said, "Just leave it." He said, "There's nobody in the back of the car." So I left it at that, and we got to the investigation, and the medium who was there, he sensed that there was somebody with me. He could see her. And I said, "But how am I going to make my husband realise by the end of the day that she's with me?" He says, "Oh," he said, he'll see." And I was like, I hope so, because I thought I was absolutely raving bonkers.
You are.
So, yeah.
Sorry.
So we've got the investigation done, and during the investigation, I was sort of like affected. I don't know if it was her who was affecting me, because all of a sudden I just sat there and cried for no reason. Whether it was just emotional or what it was, I'm not too sure. But at the end of the investigation, they did pictures, of the guests and stuff like that. I got home and I had an email, and it was an email with a picture of a woman in a white dress behind me. And I showed my husband that, and he was like, "Wow, is that who you were seeing?" I was like, "Yes." And then he was like, "I'm sorry," he said, "I shouldn't have doubted you." I was like, "No, you shouldn't have done." And I've still got that picture to this day. And that really was where it all started. Even before we went to the investigation, we had things happen, like lights would flicker, doors would be left open, and stuff like that. And I never give it a moment's thought. I just thought, well, have I just left the door open?
Yeah, there's always an excuse, isn't there?
Yeah. I always sat there and I thought, well, I must have left it open, or
Yeah.
But then it didn't explain the lights flickering. There was one specific lamp that was in my bedroom at that time, and I put it to everywhere else in the house. It was fine, but as soon as I brought it into the bedroom, it would start again. So I couldn't explain that one. And then obviously I was hearing sounds up in the loft of dragging, just odd noises, and obviously it turned out that it was this woman that was in this white dress that was doing it. So yes, it was quite realistic, when I sat and thought about it.
Yes.
So do you know her name? Who she was?
No.
She won't reveal it.
No, she won't tell
We've
me.
tried.
I mean, there's been 2 times where she's actually physically tried to harm me. She's tried to actually strangle me twice. But now them days are sort of over. I don't give her that power no more. I have been told that she is still with me even to this day, that she's still with me. But because I don't acknowledge her anymore, she's got no power. She can't get into me.
She tries.
Like before, she tries, but no, she just can't do anything. So she's sort of like powerless at the minute.
Oh, wow.
So,
Steve's trying to join us, but it's a microphone issue at the moment. So,
God.
I know.
Oh.
So it's awkward.
There's always an issue with Steve. There's always an issue.
We're fine now. Yeah, he's on. So this is Steve from your team as well. Welcome.
Good evening.
Hello.
Evening, Mark. Evening, Michelle. And good evening, Jacqueline.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, not so bad, guys. Not so bad.
All right. So we're just going through Michelle's encounter then with this lady in white. Would she be a spirit guide or something?
Possibly.
Yeah, some people have said that she is, and some people have said her intentions more
Sinister.
like sinister than that. So I'm not sure what she is at the minute.
We think she's marked me.
Yeah.
Is this the one that lives in your house, Michelle?
It is the one in the white dress that I showed you that picture of, Steve.
Yeah. I think personally, it could either be a guardian angel, or it could just be someone who's residue there, who is just a nasty little bugger.
Yeah, she could be. I mean, obviously, I've been told I've got a little boy with me as well. He's 9-year-old, and
Herbert.
it's called Herbert. He's from the 1100s.
Yeah, he came to Snape with us, didn't he?
Yeah, it's him that's holding her back, though, apparently. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, he's a lovely little boy.
Yeah, he sounds like Herbert is a very strong, powerful little spirit for his age.
He is.
And he's very, very literate as well. To say he was 9 years old and lived on the street, like is it a street urchin, whatever he was, and he died on the streets from, I think it was pneumonia or something like that.
Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? But then it happened in those days.
It did,
was just
but they
common.
said
Yeah.
if you wanted to know something about the village that he came from, wherever it was, the town, we need to work with him more.
Mm.
If
Yeah,
you wanted to know something about a certain person, ask Herbert because he would know everything.
yeah.
You know,
Bit like
he's very
my
literate.
mother.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She
but
knows everything, everybody's business.
he's a cheeky little bugger. He plays tricks in the house no end of times, and especially in our bedroom, he's a
Yeah.
bugger.
Yeah.
He really is.
That's fascinating. That's brilliant. Well, it's okay if you can live with it, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're
You know,
happy with it, that's fine. But if it was different and you're anxious, and and that's where we sort of come in, isn't it, to help people out.
Yeah.
We
It
can-
this is where we
so,
understand. If you're not used to the paranormal, something like that, a bang that you can't explain, it
mm,
becomes very scary. Very,
yeah,
very silly. And
Yeah.
we're always here not to do, public events, not make money or anything like that, because we're not here for that. But we're also here to educate as well. It may not be this, it may not be that, it may not be as dangerous as your mind is interpreting it as.
Yeah.
Work with us, we'll work with you, and we'll come to some kind of compromise. And 9 times out of 10, it might be the house making the noise,
Mhm.
not a spirit.
yeah,
I personally think a lot of these TV shows put so much false information out that all spirits are bad or they want to
They're not.
hurt you. It's wrong. And people think, well, every spirit's going to be like that. Well, they're not. You get, like you say, Matt, you get playful spirits, you get some very loving spirits, and you get some spirits that go a bit too far with the loving. you know, but it's. I
yeah,
think a lot of these programs put out so much false information, not intentionally. It's just the thing that if they put spirits out there nasty, it's going to generate more viewers, and
Yeah.
it doesn't. It just puts people like us off watching them.
yeah. But we're not their market audience, are we?
No, we're not. We're more
This is the thing.
sensible.
Like they do what they do because they have to do ratings.
Yeah,
They've got to get the money and the income from adverts or the sponsorship
yeah,
or whatever.
yeah. That's very true.
Whereas we do this because we love it.
Oh
We're
yeah,
not asking. We're not. Well, I don't put my content out generally.
yeah,
So I'm not go. Oh, look, I got this. Well, I do this for me to find out what I can find out and see what answers I can get.
yeah,
And this is what I'm intrigued by.
yeah. I mean, I've only just joined because I do a radio show on a Monday night.
Ah,
Well,
cool.
because I'm coming on here tonight, all my monitors all night were switching on and off, on and off, on and off. And
Wow.
and I said, "Will you bloody stop it?" Because I know it's the spirit in my house. I said, "Look, I'm going on a podcast. I know you don't like it, but please bloody stop it." And it stopped
Amazing.
because I'm trying to get the white sage out again.
Oh wow! Well, sometimes say that does worse. So
Oh, it does work.
well, I don't know. It works temporarily, apparently, but not always. So
Nah.
Palo that's another one. But yeah, it's whatever suits you, isn't it? So Helena says she's attacking. It sounds like jealousy.
Yeah.
She's trying to end the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was the case.
She well, we think, we can't prove it, we never will be able to, but we think she's marked me on quite a few occasions. There was about 3 weeks ago, there were 3 very deep scratches down my front of my chest. Yes, I know you can scratch yourself in your sleep. I get that. I'm not naive, but these were deep scratches.
And you've got no nails anyway.
I've got no nails because I bite all my nails, so I've got no nails anyway. So it's, but these were
Yes,
real.
he had it.
They were very distinctive marks down my chest. It took. Well, they've only just gone. That's how deep they were. It's so it's, and I woke up before with bruises all over my legs. I don't bruise easily. I never have done. And we think it's her, like you say, jealousy.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, definitely.
But we put her in a place, and now we just ignore her now. She's got no power now to ignore her. Hopefully, touch wood.
Yeah.
There you go. It's not Michelle she's attracted to.
It's you, man.
Oh, no. she can go away. She leave me alone. I don't want to know. It's I can't handle Michelle, let alone anybody else in the relationship. Please no.
Yeah,
So
one
she's
woman is enough for any man, isn't it?
Yeah, she's my boss, and she knows it, and I know it. So it's.
So what
Oh, bless.
about Steve then? Your first paranormal encounter?
Oh, crikey, that would be 1979. Just joined the Junior Leaders Regiment at Nuneaton when I was 16 and a half.
Oh, near me then, ish. Nearer
Yeah,
than Hull anyway.
well, it's Leicestershire, Warwickshire, should I say. And
Oh, yeah.
we was on guard duty, and we went up to the control tower, and there'd been a party in there that night. And they said, make sure it's locked up and everything, all the lights are off. Well, when me and my mate got up there, the lights were on, but the door was locked. So I opened the door, turned the lights off, closed the door, turned around, the lights were back on. So I went in again. I thought, oh, there must be an electrical problem. So I got on the radio. I said, is there an electrical problem up at the control tower? And he went, why? I says, the guy commander said, why? I says, because the lights keep coming back on when we turn them off. And he just started laughing. We didn't know why. And turned the lights off again. And then all of a sudden I saw some movements upstairs. I went to my mate, hey, there's someone up there. Let's go get them. Being, as you are when you're 16 and a half, full of bravado and guts. Walks up the stairs, nobody there. So my mate says, you're that buggy, you're seeing things. So we turned the lights off and it came back on. And all of a sudden this chair come flying down the stairs at us. Well, we shut that door, run like hell, changed the pants and said, we're not going back up there. And he says, oh, you met the ghost then, have you? Yeah.
Sort of.
And that was my first encounter.
Wow. So you couldn't deny that one then, could you?
No, because my mate, he says, I'm never doing guard duty with you again. He says, you're bad luck.
Oh, bless you.
It was my fault. It always is my fault,
Absolutely right. It is.
Helena, now she is a great medium, and I hope you're all right with this one, Mark. But she's saying the past life attachment is to you, and she's going for Michelle because you love her, and it doesn't work. She gets mad at you and she scratches you.
Oh.
Another love with you.
What have I done to hurt people? What have I done to pee people off? I do many things to pee people off.
You're with Michelle, aren't you?
So start the list now.
Oh, so I've got a spiritual admirer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she was probably a lover in a past life then, Mark.
Oh, that's a long way to my past life. I always said I'd look into my past life and I'd find out I was some kind of murderer or some kind of bank robber or something.
That's what I said, wasn't it, on the chat? Because that's why I never did it, because you didn't want to do a past life and then find out that you've got something nasty to live with, Because if you were a murderer, then you've got all your life now to realise and read up on it and think, I did that when? And obviously it's not you and who you are now, but it
exactly.
It did kind of put me off doing that. And yeah, as I said in the chat, I did a past life because I was bored one night and it was on at Derby Jails. I thought, oh, sod it, I'll go down there, book on and see what happens, and that's it. Helena will tell you more if you want.
Yeah.
We always like to know more, especially if it's juicy gossip. We definitely like to know more, but it's I always it is that feeling of what are you going to find out though if you delve too much, and could you, like we said at the Parachat, could you live with that, and if I was a murderer like that, I couldn't live with it, I couldn't.
Well,
There's a few people that like to murder, don't get me wrong, but it's just I don't know. Michelle says she wants to do it, but I don't want to do it. No, you're all right.
Don't you fancy doing it?
No. It's not bad as astral projecting. I don't want to do that either. Might not come back.
Intriguing, isn't it? I remember when my ex was at uni, and one of my friends had a book on astral projection, and there I was in a supermarket car park reading it, thinking, what the hell? Because I didn't even believe in paranormal then. There's a technique where you just roll over in bed and then off you go, and it's like, whoa. And it was just like, it was mad. And Yeah, and I know people who can do that now, and it's mind blowing, isn't it?
Here's
I've got
what
a book on
you
that.
can do, and we've got well, I would say a friend. It's more of a close acquaintance recently, and she's in Australia, and she can astral project as well. And you know, and the guys that were on commented earlier saying that we're lovely people. The people that we helped in the house, that's Natalie and Blake. She projected into their house to obviously check on the fact that everything was all okay after we'd done what we'd done in the house. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think I'd want to do that, because either the safety rope would snap, I'd end up being left in lumber somewhere, and no.
Mid-transportation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
because
the one.
you really don't know how it works. Like my friend goes in trance and like totally lose yourself, and like that's crazy, isn't it? What if you don't come back? You know,
Exactly.
it is there, isn't it?
It's a bit like Star Trek and teleportation, isn't it?
Beaming up Scotty.
Yeah. No, man,
Yeah.
up they beam him away. Don't bring him back.
Oh, bless
Yeah,
you.
one-way ticket. Yeah, that's the same as me,
Yeah.
mate.
Yeah,
You know,
one-way ticket to hell.
I
So,
was never a Star Trek person. More Stargate.
Mm.
so when did you form the team then?
Hang on. Shall.
Well, it was about 2022, wasn't it?
2022, yeah. I mean, obviously, I'd had my urban exploring team and everything else like that, but I wanted to change different, make it different. And I said to Michelle, right, because the way we and Michelle got together was after I got those paranormal experiences at the Manor House, I reached out and said, look, I'm looking, well, not, it was quite a couple of years after that, I think it was, for someone to lead or help me lead a paranormal team, because I had no clue of paranormal. I didn't have a clue what to do. I knew what a K2 beta did, but that's about it. And that's because I found it on the next floor.
Yeah.
And a couple of people reached out to me. One was the other side of London. I thought, well, that's too bloody far away. I can't be doing with that. Then this lovely female from Scunthorpe came up on. I thought, oh, that's just next door to me, pretty much. And we got chatting, and so said, right, let's go meet up. So we met up at the abandoned Rossby Asylum, which is great place to go if anyone wants to go.
Yes, I've heard about that place. Yeah,
It was with that twerp of her ex-husband, but no, we're not going to mention him. And we pretty much hit it off from there, didn't we? Really, and we've been together not long after that, and we said, right, I want a new team, new name. The only thing I kept the same was my logo, because I love my ghost with the Union Union flag, in the centre. I love that.
it's great.
So I says, right, okay, well, I kept coming up with the word ghost hunters. I don't like the word ghost because I like to be called spirits, not ghosts.
Yeah,
And I don't
know what to call them. It's a nightmare. Yeah.
And I thought, I don't like the word hunt because as a soldier or a former soldier, a hunt leads to a kill.
Shooting something. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not there to kill ghosts. So I thought, okay, so it's a spirit, and we're seeking. So Spirit Seekers. Fair enough. We got part of the way there. And I love Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars fan. And obviously, they were talking about the dark side, and I thought, oh, Darkside. Darkside Spirit Seekers. And I thought, I looked on Google. Has anyone got it? No one's got it. That's it. It's ours. And then that's what we became, Darkside Spirit Seekers. I thought, I'm having that.
Yeah.
It is hard to get a name, though, isn't it? It really is.
We a lot of the time we looked at it. No, you can't have that because someone else has got something close to that, or this, that, and the other. And I thought, oh, for God's sake, how hard can it be? But obviously, we were stuck with that, and hopefully, we're going to is it trademark it or copyright it, whatever it is this year, so no one else can take it. Because there are some similar ones out there.
Yeah,
So,
it is difficult because I've seen my friend's got events company, and I've seen somebody using a similar name, and I think, well, and I get mixed up because you see it because you don't see the logo or anything and think, oh, is that them? And it's not, because by where they're advertising, it's like that's not their area, so that it's not good.
no, it's not. And like I said, we just went on from there. It was we reached out to some more people if they wanted to join the team, this, that, and the other. Obviously, we always go out and speak to people, before we went to join the team, and now we've got 26 people on board now. It's crazy.
Wow. That's brilliant.
And it's
Big team, haven't we?
it is a big team. Obviously, we don't all, become, we don't mind if we had to all investigate all together, it'd be like a mass stampede. But it's not a big place. But it's, and we all work very well together, even though everyone investigates differently. And I say we can always learn from each other. We all can.
It's very true.
There's members of the team, even Steve or Richard as well, that are far better than me at a lot of things, but I learn from that.
Their own skill, though, haven't they?
Absolutely.
We're not the same, and we can all offer different things.
Every day is a school day.
It's and we're a great team.
To learn, and that's it, and not think it's my way and everyone else is rubbish. And you get too many people doing that as well, don't you? Going, that doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Well, scientifically it might not, but actually when you ask whoever or whatever's around us to make something move, and it does, and it does it and again, well, then describe that with science. You can't. And nothing we use is scientific, is it? I sort of do use Andy Guy's stuff, so that is more, science-based, but it's going off when it shouldn't.
Did you get your own sorted, Jackie?
Yeah, rechargeable batteries.
Yay!
Hey, that's the one. That's the key. So no. Well, you just buy cheap batteries, and then they're cheap for a reason, aren't they? So they're kind of working like K2s and stuff, but the Envirobell needs more energy because it changes colour, but then it makes a dinging sound. When something happens, it will change colour. There'll be a ding to notify you, and it's incredible. I've only had it go off once.
Oh, I was gone off investigation, didn't it?
Oh, Herbert loves the Envirobell, or Dead Bell as I call it. But he loves it.
Thing, though, isn't it? I think I sometimes think it's whoever's around you uses things as well.
Yeah,
my dad.
Exactly.
But he's not worked that one out yet. That's all I can say.
But as I always say, we've got quite a lot of equipment, but we class it as they're just toys at the end of the day for the spirits to play with or not play with. We make the best paranormal equipment we do with our senses.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'll always say that. As long as you're in tune with it, then you can go a long way. Yeah,
that's right. I do like to go into a building and just sit there if I can, and then maybe doing some call out. If you're hosting a public event, it is awkward because people do want to see the flashing lights. So you've got to kind of do things for the sort of the people around you and go with what they want to do if you're hosting a public event.
Yeah.
But a private one is different. Like a lot of my friends are mediums, and we kind of call spirit towards us, and all hell can break loose.
Then
you do get overshadowed, and it's brilliant. That's what it is.
We always say to anyone that comes to our public investigations, the first thing I ask is, what are your expectations? And they'll say, oh, I expect this. I said, well, don't expect nothing. You might get something. You may very well not get anything, but we're not most haunted. They're an events. They're a, an entertainment company. Of course things are going to happen, but these are filmed over 3 days, not filmed over the few hours that we've got here. So they can add bits in, they can take bits out, they can put stuff in that wasn't there in the first place.
Card in the castle. Okay. Yes, okay, whatever. But
so I say that take nothing, and hopefully you'll get something. I said we can't guarantee nothing, we won't guarantee nothing, we won't fake nothing. No. But if we get a ball go off, but when you see a ball go off, or the K2 meter go off, or the REM pod go off, whatever goes off, you look at the looks on their faces and you think, yeah, that's what we're there for. Because they're so happy. Oh my God. We're used to it, so we don't get as excited anymore. But they do. Oh my God, the cat ball's flashing! I think it's great. I love it. You just chuckle in the background.
Yeah.
You have
So I
to
thought, I used to be like
remember.
that.
You have to remember to be thankful when it goes off, haven't you? And like you think,
Absolutely.
oh God, it's going off. Do something better, please.
Yeah.
You've
Yeah, come on.
people and it's the first time I've seen something.
Yeah,
I
make
think,
that ball roll.
I think you're definitely right about you got to be open-minded,
Oh
because
gosh,
a classic example is I classified myself as an open-minded skeptic.
I do as well myself.
I've seen evidence, but I always in the back of my mind I'm debunking.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
a classic one for me was the glider drone. We were sat in the bingo hall, and you could all hear the bingo things clicking. I couldn't.
No.
Whether it's because I wasn't open enough, I don't know. But I personally didn't hear them. Yet when we went in the ballroom, I heard the monks chanting,
And we
and
didn't.
then Michelle got that 3 columns of shadow,
Yeah.
and you didn't.
It's weird,
You know,
isn't it?
That's in Boston, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been there. It seems strange that there's actually is it 3 monks just buried where people stand to buy a drink at the bar.
There's 8 monks there.
8
Buried
monks.
there.
It's just so wrong,
There's
isn't
8
it? But you know, they found them and they just put them back, and it's just weird that people are going to the bar buying a drink, and they've got the monks down there. It's like, okay. I'm
Yeah.
actually going there for New Year. We've just booked it. So,
Oh, wow.
I'm actually going to Boston, so I'll have to try and get my mates to pop that direction.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I can't
Yeah, we
wait to
go
go
on
back there.
that.
It was interesting, definitely, and the back rooms as well with this. You know, they've got the history in it and the bands and stuff like that. It's fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the changing the stage as well. That can be very active as
Mm.
well, as we
It
found
was
out.
very active that night, because all I saw was like that on the side, looking out.
Yeah. So we were all
And
either
then
upstairs.
you got the pictures, didn't you, Shell, of the shadow at the side of the stage?
Did, yeah.
Because I
Absolutely.
couldn't get up the stairs to go to the balcony because of my lung disease. But I was sat down on the dance floor all night. I heard the monks, and I could see 3 things coming at me. But when I took pictures, there was nothing there. When Michelle took pictures, there was 3 columns of black mist.
They don't like you, mate. That's what it is.
So, well, my mother don't like me, so I don't think spirits will like me.
Join the club, mate. Join the club. Black
Yeah,
sheep of the
well,
family, mate. But
I think
It is so fascinating, though, isn't it?
it is
What
such
to
a
do.
fascinating subject, and you learn something every day.
Oh, blimey, yeah.
Because I've
That's
just started reading a book that Mark had recommended to me.
Oh, okay.
demonologist.
The Demonologist. Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's a. I've only just finished reading it about less than a week ago, and in those 300 pages, I learned more in those 300 pages from reading that than I have in the 7 years of doing the paranormal.
Yeah.
You know, it explains so much. And I
But
think,
they
and
were
I'm
so
looking at it,
gift-
I didn't think of it like that. I didn't think of it like that either. And it
Yeah.
does open your mind. It really does.
The Warrens were so gifted in that field, in the paranormal field. It's unreal. What they could do, their knowledge.
But it was back in the day when it wasn't allowed, when you weren't
Yeah.
allowed to talk about it. So of course they were going to get enemies,
Yeah.
you know, and you know a lot of probably what has been said then, you know, it runs off today as well. But you know, people didn't like what they did.
Yeah.
She was religious as well, wasn't she?
Oh yeah, very.
So you know, she's going against that as well, isn't she?
Yeah,
So
I think she was Catholic. I think she was. Was she Catholic?
yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it was, yeah. And the Catholic
Ed
Church now
Warren.
is so open to it, aren't they?
Yeah, but Ed Warren
Yeah.
wasn't religious at all. He
No, he
didn't like
wasn't.
religion. He doesn't
No.
like religion. He's obviously he's dead now. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But he didn't believe in religion or anything like that. You know.
Yeah, I'm not
I
a believer in religion, but I
No.
believe in good and evil, good and bad, evil and good. You know, I don't
yeah.
believe in heaven and hell.
No.
Yeah, we've all got our own belief system, haven't we? And
Yeah.
you know, we just got to accept that, and it's what it is, isn't it?
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
so
Absolutely.
but
I mean, I
yeah.
live in Grimsby, so I'm living in hell.
Oh, okay. So I do know Grimsby. Well, I know Cleethorpes because my mum-in-law lives there. So
I used to
I,
love
Yeah,
I,
that's right.
Gleethorpes.
I
Cleethorpes
was
is nice.
yeah, I was there a bit ago. Yeah, when I went to Hull, I sort of popped to Cleethorpes first.
Oh, it was
So yeah,
open
well,
Yeah.
well, the amusement arcades were, and a lot of the sand had disappeared
Yeah,
because the
that must have
storm
been after the
taken down.
storms then.
Oh, yeah, it was. Yeah, that
We,
was
lo-
weird.
we lost something like 8 foot of sand off the beach.
Yeah, and it's blatant, isn't it? Because like
Yeah.
I go camping a lot there. Haven, what they've changed the name of.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Well, it was the fitters, yeah.
Dark Park, yeah, and
Yeah.
now people are just getting sunk in the mud there, aren't they? They're in the
Yeah.
quicksand, having to be rescued.
The
Because
funny thing
all the
is,
bogs
there's
gone.
plenty of signs and they still do it.
Yeah, but if you've been going there for absolute years, you're not going to realise that the top layer of sand's gone.
Well, if you've been going there years, you'll know. Because it goes from a golden brown to a dirty brown.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there's more, believe it or not, more locals get stuck in that mud than day trippers.
Well, you just used, I used to walk from the park down to Tetney,
Yeah,
and I
on the
walked along
coast,
the
on the
beach.
path.
But no, along the beach. But they're saying now, if you're
Oh,
walking along the beach, you can sink down, past
yeah,
the breakwaters, even if you're near the breakwaters.
yeah. It's
Different, isn't it?
coastal erosion, isn't it, from off the east coast of Yorkshire, and it's
Right.
coming down the Humber and being deposited on Cleethorpes Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see a lot of erosion doing exploring. We see a lot of it. I like explore a lot of coastal regions, especially like Spurn Point and places like that.
Yeah, that's right. I've always looked over, but I've never been there.
You can't get there now.
It's
it's gone, hasn't it? Virtually.
Yeah, it's been cut off now.
Yeah, that's a shame.
But it's bigger than it actually looks.
Oh well, yeah. It's a big piece of land. A long piece of land.
I think, if I remember correctly, it's, if you go around the point from one side of the RNLI station to the other side, it's 1.5 miles.
It's a long walk.
It's a hell of a long walk.
We parked in the car park, and me and Michelle decided we're going to go for a walk along Spurn Point because there's a lot of the coastal gun battery emplacements on there.
Yeah.
A lot of the Spurn Port, and they're actually uncovering more and more. They've uncovered the gun batteries. They've uncovered so much, and it took us. Well, it must have been an 8-hour round trip because it's a long walk there and back to the car again.
Oh,
My God.
Wow.
It's worth it.
Then the actual forts, Bull Fort and Sand Fort, I've actually got in touch with the owner of Bull Fort to try and do an investigation on there.
Oh,
I'd love to go on there.
Everybody to get on there.
My grandma was based there in the Second World War.
Oh wow!
She was one of the pubs on there. Yeah.
Yeah, you always look at them, don't you? But yeah.
Well, from the First World War, so they've got some history.
Oh,
of course
blimey, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, these
well, you just see them, don't you?
Pan Mark.
You watch. It's like the other ones as well. It's the Mornsel sea forts as well. I remember them. They used to be all at one point.
There's actually 3 forts.
Yeah, there's those ones, but then there's some further afield. I think it's called the Mornsel sea forts, and there's about 5 of them in a group, isn't there?
That's off the Thames Estuary, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, and because I've been exploring with fighters do that, and I thought, I want to do them, but obviously I don't like water, so it's
I think there'd be good places to investigate them forts.
Yeah, that's right.
Because they've never been done. I know Bull Fort has never been done. People have been on it, but they've never investigated it.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It's a bit like Fort Paul as well. That's an awesome place to investigate.
Oh, don't wind me up. Yeah, I drove
No,
all there. I looked
I
on
know.
Google. It said it was open at 10 o'clock, so I drove there. But I should have actually looked on the website, but it got me a drive out for the day, didn't it? So I drove
I
there. I
remember
found a nice church. The church was
it's,
nice there, and I walked to the coast. And I've seen it.
I remember when it was an actual museum before the two Nicks took over,
Yeah.
and I explored there. It's not long before it actually shut down. My God, it had a feel to it back then. It
Well, look at
really
that time we
did.
got a stone thrown in that tunnel. I
Yeah.
don't know where it come from.
Then when the Knicks first opened it up, the very first, before they officially opened it up, they did the first Paranormal there, and we went on board with that one. And there were, I think it was me, Michelle, and a couple of others down one of the casements underground. And all next minute, all you heard was this big bang, like a stone had been thrown down the tunnel, but it echoed so bad, we nearly all crapped ourselves. It was
Oh,
that
wow.
loud. And there was no one around. We never did get find out what the source was or what was thrown, but it was definitely some kind of stone or brick or whatever was thrown down that tunnel. But we couldn't find it.
We couldn't.
Could it have been residual? Could it have been residual energy from a gunshot?
Possibly, we didn't. Obviously, it didn't sound like a gunshot to me.
Oh, okay.
But,
yeah.
It's and when me and you, we both know what gunshots sound like, but it's
Yeah.
it sounded more like something had been thrown. But
All
it could have
right,
been residual. It could have been
Yeah.
residual. I don't know.
Because didn't I mention something about the stairs? And then all
Yeah.
of a sudden there was a stone.
Because we was asking questions, and I think, did we have necrophonics on at the
We
time?
did, yeah.
And it said, listen or something. And I said, well, listen to what? And I think it did say something like, you'll see, or you'll hear, or something like that. Then about 5 minutes after that, bang. God, we all crapped ourselves. I'll tell you, it was peaceful until that point.
That was it, all the lights went on, didn't they?
When his torch went on.
Torch went on and new pants, please.
Yeah,
wow.
It's so yeah. They said, "Oh, did you get scared?" No, but I jumped.
Yeah, admittedly, I've screamed before, because I get caught out. It's not through being scared. It's just, it's like if I see a rat. If I see a rat, I'll scream. I'm not scared of it. It's just like, whoa, what are you doing there? It's that sort of reaction. And once I did scream, and something was right there, a dark mass right there at the village in Mansfield. And I said, I've got a dark mass. Well, I screamed, explained it, and then it set the REM pod off when it legged it. So I scared the ghost.
You scared the spirit.
Yeah. Because I like right in my face, and I screamed and it went, and the REM pod all of a sudden went off. The timing was like spot on, So
I remember the first time I saw my first shadow figure. Oh my God, I've never seen a shadow figure before. And it was at Lee Road School in Gainsborough. It's another abandoned school. It's going to get demolished and renovated or whatever now into houses. And it was completely abandoned. So obviously was in there doing investigation. And I was looking down the long corridor where all the classrooms were. And I said to my mate, I says, there's something peered round that corner. He goes, no, don't be daft. And then they walked off. And there was definitely something peered round that corner. Well, that was it. I legged it down that corridor, chasing this spirit. I legged it because I've never seen one before, so I don't know what it was. And I hit all these lights hanging down. I hit every single light going down that corridor. I didn't knock myself out. I ain't got a clue. I never did find the spirit. I probably killed the spirit, poor thing. But the problem is, after that, my mate was wanting to know what the ruckus was. A minute later, he followed me down that corridor, and every single light was dead perfectly still. And I can't explain that one.
Wow.
I hit him head on. Like I said, I had bruise on my forehead because I hit that about 6 lights in a row. And they were dead still. When he came down, he says, "You hit every light." I said, "I know I did. I felt it."
Wow.
I don't have that problem being so short. I bang my head on desk lamps.
Oh wow, okay.
The joys of being tall, mate.
I used to be 6'2". I'm only 5'6" now.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah,
Quick
no,
question
the
from
military.
Helena. Have you investigated Fort Amherst in Kent?
No, but I want to.
The Saints really.
Say it's megally haunted, but obviously that's in people's interpretation. I like to go for myself.
Yeah,
Then I'll
course
decide
you
if it's
do.
haunted or not in my
Yeah.
mind. But
We've done Fort
done Widley. We've done Fort
Fort
Widley.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'd like to go there.
I
Yeah, so-
actually saw the apparitions of 4 soldiers down there near the encasement. They were knelt with the rifles pointing right at me, and I saw that with my own eyes. And there were, I think it was
God.
World War I uniforms that were in, if I can remember, says me
Oh,
correct.
incredible.
And I thought, is that real? You know, they're pointing guns. No, don't do that. But
Maybe you were stood in an area where they had firing squads.
maybe
Oh,
they thought I was an invading army or something. I don't know. But you know,
Yeah.
they could have thought I was French.
right.
Well, I think if you were French, I'd shoot you.
Unfortunately, we've got to finish now.
Oh.
We've run out of time. I know we could just carry on chatting forever.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone. Thanks Helena, and thanks everyone who's watched.
Thank
And
you.
commented. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for it's been great. And yeah, me and Michelle got talking just before the Parachat, didn't we? And obviously to meet up was fantastic, and we're investigating, aren't we?
Yeah,
So we're around here soon. So yeah, it's in my
Yeah.
diary. I think everything goes in my diary, and I don't know when it is, but yeah.
It's
But,
the Selling in Nottingham. That's the 21st. Yeah.
Oh, that's our Christmas party.
Jackie's coming on to that one.
Oh, cool, you'll love that. I love it.
21st. It's in my diary anyway. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, and obviously you heard my story, and there are links. So whether that will turn up or not, I don't know. But
I want to do some round Nottingham. I really do. You know what you was describing, that where the bit that goes down, not underground as such, but I don't know what you call it. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I'd love to investigate that because that sounds awesome.
You can't access it, but there is a cave right near it, and that is grim.
Cave. I'm in cave. I love cave.
It's not gross and horrible and grim, and way. And it usually has some horrible negative energy in. Yay!
Well, we can go play and have some fun, can't we?
Like mediums can be traumatized down there, put it that way. So yeah, it's all good.
I'm not a medium, so I don't care. I'm an extra large, not a medium. But now it's.
I'm a double
But take care, everyone, and thank you for
Good night.
See you later. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.